I love Taylor Swift, and she was a really big part of the decision to make my van pink. So this is my full-size closet. All of this is clothes. Honestly, I have so much space in here that people don't expect that. They're like, oh, you live in a van, how do you fit everything? And I'm like, I have extra space. I have space to spare. But anyway, hi, I'm Tory and today we're gonna take a tour of my van. All right, so this is my kitchen area, and I built this entire van myself. And so when I built the kitchen, it was mostly, the thought was, whatever I can build is what's going to get made. So it's not super fancy. This is kind of where I keep my toothbrush, my face wash, all those different kind of things, because when you live in a van, anything that takes more than one step, sometimes it's just like feels very draining. So I wanted everything to be one step, as simple as possible. And then I have 3 different Pokemon planters, because everyone needs 3 different Pokemon planters. And this is my sink faucet. And it was one of the things in the van build that I decided that I didn't really want to invest a lot of money in, because I felt like this $7 sink faucet did as much as the $100 sink faucet. So I decided to kind of cut corners here, and I don't regret it, but it does sound kind of gross, and I'm out of water right now, but that's just, everyone makes fun of that noise. But it works, and that's all that matters. And then the water storage is just like a 5-gallon water tank with the gray water next to it. I just go into Planet Fitness with a water jug, and I fill it up, and I bring it out, and I dump it in there, because that's free water, and it's simple. I'm already at Planet Fitness, so I'm already paying for it. So this is my tabletop counter. It is not real marble, unsurprisingly. It is a $10 sticker from Amazon that's just pink, so it matched the vibe of the van, so I liked it, and it kept it cheap, which I liked. So I decided to put up here flowers, because this is a really hard spot for a lot of van lifers when they're building their van, is to figure out how to like cover this, or you have to be like really good at woodworking to like mold around it. And flowers were super simple, so I just covered it with flowers, and I have a mirror and pictures of my cat, who does not like living in a van, so she lives with my little sister, and I just remember her with her little shrine, and of course a picture of Taylor Swift, because why not? So everything in the van is powered by a Goal Zero 3000X, and it's super simple. I went that route because I tried to learn how to do one of the complicated electrical systems, and I just really struggled. I spent weeks and weeks trying to learn how to do it, and I discovered for myself it just wasn't worth that time. So I went for the Goal Zero. I spent a little more money, and I have never regretted it, because, for example, I had a friend who also lives in a van. Just yesterday, their system kind of had a problem, and they had no idea how to fix it, because there's always different, pieces, and they didn't build it themselves. So for me, when I have a problem, I can, contact Goal Zero, I can do whatever, but also I never had a problem. I've had it for 2 years, and it's been super nice and super simple. And it powers the entire van really well. I've only ever had a problem in winter, when I learned that storing your battery bank on the floor when it's, negative 20 degrees isn't a smart idea, but that's just a learning curve, and I can fix that myself. So everything's just kind of a learning curve over the last 2 years living in the van. And I am actually selling this van and building a new one, and everything that I've learned I'm going to take into that next van build. And the next van build, I am going to use a portable battery station, but I will not be putting it on the floor, because I've learned that. So I paid $30,000 for the base vehicle. It's a Ram ProMaster 2015. It had 24,000 miles on it at the time. And I spent $17,777 exactly on the build. And I did it all myself, so I didn't have to pay for labor. And now for work on the road. So I've made money on the road 3 different ways. My first way was having those 9-to-5s. And then I had a small business. I was selling safety keychains and safety tools and educating women on self-defense. And now I am a social media manager for the company called Project Vanlife, and we get to educate people on how to build out camper vans. And my job pretty much is just to encourage people to feel confident in building a van themselves, which is a huge deal to me, because that's what really took that first step for building the van myself. I had never touched a power tool. So the program is really for people who don't know where to start or just feel overwhelmed. And so I get to promote that every day, which is super cool, and I love that. I also make YouTube videos. That's kind of my dream goal, is to be a YouTuber. That sounds really lame when I say it out loud, but it is, and I love it, and I gotta make vlogs, I gotta make travel vlogs. I just did a travel vlog at the world's most haunted abandoned amusement park, and I stayed there overnight in my van, and it was incredible, and I absolutely saw a ghost. So I love everything that I get to do now. Living in the van just kind of opens up those opportunities for me. So this is my 5-foot long table. It is 5 feet long because I used to have a small business where I was painting jackets. That's how I afforded the van. And so I wanted a space to be able to paint on and be able to like spread out. And I still use it even though I'm not painting anymore. But yeah, so it's very long, very, very helpful, and I love it. And then this is just a long bench, and it has my fridge on this side and my power station on this side. And they just kind of flip up. It's super simple just to reach, and it's just a giant, you know, battery bank. And then this side is my fridge. Honestly, this is a pain to open. I regret doing it this way. I wish I would have done a slide out, but doing those slides are difficult. Those slides are expensive. And this was simple. But yeah, it is not by Vance Refrigeration. That would be great though. But I visited Scranton, Pennsylvania, where they filmed The Office, and I got a Vance Refrigeration sticker for it. But yeah, it's a Dometic, and I love it, and I have no regrets. I think they're some of the greatest fridges. Like, it does not pull like any battery. It's wonderful. Yeah, and then this is just a bookshelf. I just shove things in here. It's like my junk drawer, and a bunch of books, which I don't mind getting rid of when I'm done reading, because you can only have so many books when you live in a van. So I like being able to switch them out when I'm done. So this is my full-size closet, and all of this is clothes. I just like a rack here. I stack some things here, and this is my stove. I have a 2-burner Coleman stove, and I just store it there, and that's all clothes. I have roller skates down here, some paintbrushes, different paints as well. And then my map of all the different national parks and historic sites, and then I cross them off as I go. But I haven't done that in a while, but it's getting updated. So it's very exciting because right now I'm heading across America and hopefully moving to California, and I'm very excited about it. So that is my closet. And this is my Taylor Swift collection. And then I also hand painted this ukulele to match the one that she uses at the AMAs. I love Taylor Swift, and she was a really big part of the decision to make my van pink. When I was building this van, I got a lot of comments of, who's going to build that for you? Are you sure you can do that? Is your brother going to put that in for you? And she was in her Lover era at the time, and it was a lot of, you know, the song The Man, and just being confident and knowing that, you know, you can be girly and you can do anything you put your mind to. And so that was a big inspiration for me. She was also a really big inspiration for me when I got into van life. A little bit of a backstory. When I saw her at the Reputation tour in, I believe, 2018, in line, I saw someone wearing a hand-painted jacket, and because of that, I started a business hand-painting jackets, and that's how I afforded this van, the down payment on this van. And then during the concert, she actually talked about, it was her 1-year anniversary of her sexual assault case, and her winning, and talking about how, like a direct quote from that, which she said, "I don't know what I would have done if no one would have believed me." And in that moment, I thought to myself, you know, if Taylor Swift is going to report her assault and talk about it, then I can do the same. And I actually reported my sexual assault because of that. I started a small business, and I talked to women about, and men, people from all over the country and internationally, I've talked to about their sexual assaults, what they've been through, and helped them figure out what to do in the next steps, because that's what I didn't know what to do. So I kind of, a way for me to heal from what I've been through is to help other people through it, which is a big reason why I have Medusa hand painted on my closet. She's a big symbol for sexual assault survivors. So that was also a big piece of inspiration in my van, and just kind of who I am and the journey that I've been on living in a van. But then the final piece of that concert that night is at the end of the night, it was just super busy and crowded, and so I decided to sleep in my car until the crowds died down, and then I woke up the next morning super early and was like, oh, okay, it's the next morning, I'm still in Miami, I can go explore Miami now, I guess. And then I kind of discovered car camping, and I started car camping for a few years and just kind of going on long road trips. I road tripped across America in my, I believe it was my Honda Accord, and just sleeping in the front seat, and it was really incredible. And that all started because of the Taylor Swift concert, and from there I decided to get into van life, and then I built this van. So the van is very Taylor Swift themed, but that's because, you know, she's been a big inspiration in my life and who I've become. I talk to a lot of solo females who message me and say they want to get into van life and they're just a little bit concerned. And what I say to a lot of people is that, you know, I've met a lot of women who've started van life and they actually end up feeling more comfortable living in their van sometimes than they did living in an apartment or a house before. And some of that has to do with, you know, previous situations. When I was assaulted, it was 5 feet from my apartment door. So at the end of the day, people that I've talked to have said things to me like, oh, well, you know, living in my van, I can just drive away from any kind of dangerous situation and you can end up feeling safer. To me, my van feels like kind of like a man cave or like my safe spot, and it's honestly where I'm happiest, and being able to bring it everywhere in the world with me is super cool as I go on and I'm, you know, growing, and this van has played such a big part of who I am now. So to anyone who, you know, is a solo female looking to get into this, if you feel unsafe, my biggest piece of advice is, you know, you have 2 routes that you can go down with that. You can either choose to, you know, stay put and be scared, or you can choose to instead educate yourself, learn about self-defense, you know, get safety tools for your vehicle. You know, you can have, you know, video cameras for all 4 angles of your van and you can protect yourself. You can get a dog. There's so many different options you can do to learn to be safe in a vehicle, but don't let that fear stop you from, you know, getting into van life. And, you know, if you are concerned, the greatest piece of comfort, one of the greatest things that I love is the support other women have for each other in van life. Just if you join a Facebook group of, you know, solo females living in their vans, it is so supportive and so exciting, and it'll absolutely get you pumped and feeling confident to live in a van. So welcome to the back of my van, though it's all just one tiny spot, but you know, we can consider it kind of like little rooms. This is just the bed. It's a queen size, mine is 1 inch. I just had to cut off like a little bit. I decided not to put any windows in because I love city camping, and I have this also this irrational fear that if I had a window, there's I'd pull the cover down and a clown would be pressing its face up against the window. Windows scare me for some reason, so I don't have any windows in here. Though recently I have kind of regretted that, but I'm a big city girl. I've been in Baltimore, New York City, etc. So just having no windows kind of gets rid of that that weakness factor of security, which is a window is an easy spot to break. So when you're in, more dangerous, more likely to get your vehicle broken into cities, I just kind of didn't put that as a priority. This is my Max Air fan. If you have a van and you're watching this right now, this is your sign to clean your Max Air fan, because I feel like people don't do that enough. So this is me roasting you, so don't forget to do that. And I have a skylight as well. I love looking at the night sky, but I just kind of don't feel safe in a lot of places to do that outside of my vehicle. Like if I'm in New York City, I want to look at the skyline and I want to look at the stars. But I don't want to get out of my vehicle by myself to do that. But yeah, I love my skylight. It is one of my favorite things about my van build. So this is my garage area. It's honestly not very organized. It just throw things in it, and you just things get moved around a lot when you're driving because I don't have a lot of organizational systems. But I have traction boards, which I just finally got because I'm moving out west, and I hear ProMasters get stuck the most out of all the vehicles. So being by myself, I don't want to get in the middle of nowhere and have no way to get out. This is how I'm supposed to get internet in my van. I haven't set it up yet. It's the WineGuard system, and they sent it to me, and it's just a big router that I don't want to put on top of my van because it kind of seems very not stealth. Not that I am that stealth. It just seems like next level not stealth, so I haven't installed it yet. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, everything else is just kind of random thrown together, things that I brought with me to do for my next van build, and yeah. Thank you so much for checking out my van and getting to tour it with me. If you want to check out more of what I'm doing, I have a YouTube channel. It's Tory Delury. It's TORYDELURY. And I make a lot of vlogs there every Sunday. I just kind of explore the country and do fun, crazy things in my van. Sometimes I end up stealth camping in the middle of a festival. I went to the Kentucky Derby. Just always different kind of fun things I get to do in my van exploring. So you can check that out there. And I'm also selling my van, which is very exciting, and doing a new van build. And I'll be doing it all myself, and I'm super excited for that adventure. So if you're looking at building a van, I'll be posting a lot about how I'm doing that and the different steps for that as well. And July 7th, Taylor Swift is dropping Speak Now, so check it out.